What's up, everybody? It's your boy BLAZEDxENFERNO, and you are listening to episode 64 of the Infernal Gaming Podcast. I believe it's 64. I think it's 64. We're recording this episode 7/9, so July 9th. And we got a dope show for you here today. If you're new to this show, just know you can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Somebody's listening to Amazon podcast, so a shout out to y'all, man. Whoever listening to us over there on Amazon or whatever the fuck it is. The links are in the description. Check out our personal links as well. Remember to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify to help us grow. That's very important. I see a lot of y'all been doing that. Y'all been giving us 5 stars. Let's try to get that rating up. I think we're currently sitting somewhere like 6 to 7 5-star ratings on the last show. Let's see if on this show we can get 10 motherfucking people to 5-star the show, man. That would be dope. That would be dope. And of course on YouTube, make sure you like, comment if you feel like it, share it with your friends. A lot of y'all fucking with it over on YouTube too now. I think YouTube's got some type of new system, the way they handle audio, videos, and playlists. You can I literally put all the episodes into a playlist, and then it asked me if it was a podcast. I said yes. And ever since we've been doing that, the numbers been looking good, man. So just keep doing what y'all doing. Keep doing what y'all doing, supporting the show and all that good shit. As you see today, there was no E-Night on the intro today. It's just me. And today I got a guest with me. I got my boy, you already know, the residential Eminem hater himself. You know what I mean? Got him in the building, man.
What it do, man? I'm over here chilling, doing this podcast with a cat next to me, riding shotgun over here. So, yeah, she gonna keep me company while we do this.
Facts, man. Like I said, we got a good show here for you today because this is something different that I've been thinking of doing for a long time with the podcast, especially when these slower weeks. E-Night is kind of out of town right now. We could have easily recorded a podcast, but I didn't want to bother him. He's out of town, and I think we've been giving y'all too many gaming episodes, so I kind of wanted to switch it up a notch. It was between maybe doing a mental health Monday type deal or doing a music podcast, because the music podcast is so far and thin. But we got a special treat for y'all today. So I wanted to do something a little different with this. As you see, I only got Warren with me today. I usually got Warren and Bird when we do the music episodes. And that's because we're not doing a full-blown review of albums and all that good shit and then talking about music news.
This year has been terrible for that shit. So we got to come up with something.
I mean, it's heating up. It's heating up.
We're already halfway through the year. We're just starting to do that now, okay? Normally something would have dropped to around March or something like that that had us talking. But no, it's nothing, okay? So we got to come up with something.
Yeah, man. Listen, man, Drake about to drop. You know what I mean? Drake about to drop, so... we about to have a pretty lit summer, man. But we're going to save all those reviews and shit from when we link up with Bird in the foreseeable future, probably sometime next month. Maybe the end of this month. I don't know. It's hard linking up with Bird for these things because he's on a different time schedule than us. You know, he got things he taking care of. As an adult, in the military, shit like that.
Like saving the nation?
Yeah, facts. So it's just, he it's easier to link up with Warren because he just, he's relatively free on the weekends and stuff like that. So I was like, let me grab him for this real quick. And if you look at the title, you already kind of know what we're kind of getting to. Today's going to be a reanalysis of an old album. That's what we're going to be calling these. I don't know what the official name is going to be yet in my mind. So whatever title you see, you're probably just sitting there like, oh shit.
How about album retrospective? All right.
All right. There we go. Album retrospective. There we go. And today we're going to be taking a look back at a that we were all hyped for back in the day. And that hype quickly died the fuck out. You know what I mean? All right. But we want to kind of see if that hype is still there, like, you know, all these years later. So, yo, Warren, tell me what your initial feeling was of this album when it first, you know what I mean, when you first heard it.
Not the matter of like when I first heard it, actually, because like at that time I was fairly much more active on social media than I am currently, and when it had dropped, immediately, like, you know, the immediate reactions from people all talking about it as if like this was the greatest thing that ever happened, that ever dropped from this artist. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Just all the hyperbole that you can think or say came about this album, which colored my expectations of what I was going to, you know, how I perceived this album. I mean, mind you, this is coming off of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. And after after Watch the Throne and the compilation albums and so on and whatnot. So like this was his, you know, next solo venture. And mind you, like all his solo ventures before that, we don't need to say it again, but 5 classics. So the bar is already set, but at the same time, he's set a new standard and is always. So I'm over here in my head thinking that these, you know, comments about it are warranted because this is what you come to expect from an artist like this. And when I heard it, I was thoroughly disappointed. Thoroughly disappointed. Not even just more than disappointed, angry, upset. Just it was more than it was lot. There is like, okay, when we ever think of somebody like Drake, for example, when he, you know, sets a standard when it comes to his albums that he drops, and then Certified Lover Boy comes out, and it's disappointing not because it's a bad album. It's just okay piece of work, but when you're that tier of an artist, your bar is set so high that we expect nothing less than great. It may not be a classic, but it needs to be at least a good listen, a great album, if you will. Mediocre just isn't it. This album in particular wasn't mediocre. It was terrible. It was awful to listen to, and that's what made me mad.
Yeah, when this album first came out, my initial response to it was I like the rollout. And as we see, even with his last album, Donda, Kanye's very good with his rollouts, man. It's something about the way he presents the album and he puts it out there to build that general hype, if that's even what he's going for. Because sometimes I do be thinking Kanye has good intentions with these album rollouts. Like he really does want to hit these deadlines and stuff like that. And he just kind of aims a little short. You know what I mean? And I feel, go ahead.
I don't necessarily think it's him like pre this. Like it was always, you know, the rollout's coming and then like you give it a specific sort of date and then it ends up getting rolled back. But we would accept that because he was very meticulous with his art to the point where it's like, if it ain't perfect, if it ain't hit that, like he'll re-listen to it, find something else that he wants to correct within it, and then do some more work on it, clear some more samples. And it's like we would accept that because we understand that, okay, if it's getting pushed back another month, another couple weeks, or something like that, we know that he's putting in the work to make sure that we're going to get a pristine sounding album. And for the first 5 albums, he delivered on that precisely. So it's like when you have given yourself that level of equity in the music game, that it's like, yo, listen, if we don't care if he rolls it back to like the end of the year or says I'm just going to work on it some more and I'll drop it next year. You have that level of equity and trust within your fan base to know that this is going to come out perfect the way in which you intended it to sound, and it's going to be received by the audience the way it was supposed to be received. This wasn't it.
Yeah. I feel that. Like when New Slaves first came out, which was like, I guess the lead single,
right.
There's a very unique way. I don't know if you remember that way he dropped that song. Was it
like in Times Square or something?
Yeah, it was like Times Square. It was like some movie theater in Chicago, and it was like on the side of the building, and it was just it was like I said, like one thing about Kanye is he know how to roll out an album. Like he's going to put everything out there. With Donda, we seen him have 3 different listening parties of 3 different versions of Donda with all these crazy set pieces and him doing push-ups and shit like that. Like it was fucking a wild time. But Yeezus was kind of Yeezus was an album where Kanye was kind of departing from the sound that kind of made him who he was. And I think that kind of started with the album before, which was My Twisted Dark Beautiful Fantasy. There's a lot of different tropes and feels to that album, and it still felt very Kanye. And even if you want to say 808s and Heartbreak, right, was that album as well. That was kind of like a great departure from Kanye's sound, even though he kind of had that sound kind of with like songs like Flashing Lights.
Yeah, but I will say this. When it came to 808s and Heartbreaks, it was much more of a departure. I feel as though the departure album for 808s is much more aptly applied, because even with songs like Flashing Lights, he's still rapping on those songs. But with 808s, it was completely, everything was auto-tuned and geared towards him singing and being much more melodic within all the beats that he was producing. So like, and I, quite frankly, when it comes to like Kanye West, it's kind of hard to define. Aside from like 808s being like the most clear example, it's hard to define what's a departure album for him, because the calling card for him was always every album doesn't sound the same. Every album sounds different. He's reinventing his sound with each and every single album, that's what makes him so brilliant. Like, what you can't say, what's it? College Dropout sounded like Late Registration. It doesn't sound like Graduation. It definitely didn't sound like 808s and Heartbreaks, and that definitely didn't sound like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. All those albums sounded differently, but at the same time, because he was crafting sound, and someone probably even argue maybe riding the wave of some of the sounds of the artists that he was with, that it was still unique to him. It's still very much Kanye.
Yeah. Yeah, do you hear me?
I can hear you, just a bit muffled.
All right, yeah, I feel like my internet just went down at my crib, so.
Yeah, you've been coming in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because these thunderstorms, my internet just went out. So I'm gonna switch everything over. All right,
Yeah. Okay. Well, say something again.
Yo.
Okay, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, but keep going. My bad.
No, I just finished right there.
Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. We had I got storms in the area, and I think it's kind of messing with my internet. So apologies for the quality drop in my audio. It's because I'm on my phone now. It's sort of my phone. But we're going to finish this podcast off right. We're going to get into it. So like we said, we both weren't feeling the album when it first came out. I think we both had higher hopes for Kanye. But we're going to see if, it's been like 10 years. We're going to see if 10 years later, this album still holds up, man. We gonna
10 years.
It's been 10 years, dog.
Didn't it come 10 years.
It came out
2013, yeah. 2013.
Damn.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, damn. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So the first song we got is On Sight, all right? That's the first song we got. How you feeling about On Sight, man? How'd you feel about that song, dog?
I remember listening to it. Because I re-listened to it like when you told me that we were going to be doing this recording. I re-listened to the album and so on. And honestly, the rapping on it is fairly solid, but it just was like, it kind of threw me for a loop when you hear the beat drop and so on. It just seemed, I don't know, maybe a bit techno-y or something like that when you hear it. But again, it doesn't jump off at, like, when I think of like Kanye West intros to his album, we're thinking Say You Will from 808s and Heartbreaks, Good Morning from Graduation, Wake Up Mr. West going into Heard Him Say from Late Registration, We Don't Care on College Dropout. It was a good pacer to kind of set the tone for the album. And I can say that this probably does the same for this one, but at the same time in a not so good way, because if this is the thing that sets the tone for the album, it's to prepare you for the kind of sound that you're going to be getting on this album, and that was just not pleasant. It's just not a pleasant sound.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. On Sight is my least favorite song on the album. Probably, in my opinion, the worst song on the album. Probably the worst way to open up the album too. I didn't like the sound of it, the fucking the electronic instruments, all that shit. The instrumental itself is just horrible. And I guess I can agree. Like Kanye wasn't like too bad on the rapping part, but I just think it's just a hard listen to altogether, and it's just a bad way to open up an album. Even the Donda opening with the Donda, I feel like does way better than this does, man. Like this,
honestly, I might think that might be even worse than this, to be honest.
nah, this shit was bad, man. This shit hurt my ears. This shit just did too much, man. This shit did too much. But
when did you manage to get a chance to re-listen? Did you like re-listen recently?
To Yeezus?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? We need to have a podcast on this because I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? I've been watching those Kanye West Iceberg videos. They're like super fucking long. They're like the last part's like 6 hours long, and I just been watching them, and then he's constantly talking about Yeezus on it, like Yeezus, and you could tell like Yeezus out of like maybe all of his albums besides Yandi. He put the most thought into production with it, like the rollout, production, everything. So it's like Yeezus is one of those albums where it's like it's borderline an art piece, dog. Just because of like everything that he put into it, like it's easy to say like Watch the Throne, My Twisted Dark Beautiful Fantasy, Yeezus, and Yandi were his highest production valued albums. Like he put the most thought and work into those albums. Like even like Yandi never came out, but when you listen to Yandi, like you listen to the lead tracks, you could tell there was like some type of thought behind like, okay, this person being on this song and that person and them saying this and this coming in and like, yeah, I mean, just Young Thug doing the opening of like Godzilla and shit like that. Like you could tell there's a lot of thought behind like a lot of things that he did. The same could even be said for certain songs on Donda, but I feel like with Yeezus, like he's always like in these videos, and I'm sorry I don't have the person to quote for this. Like I don't know that channel. You definitely should check out the channel. Just search up Kanye West Icebergs and they'll pop up. They should be the first couple videos. Definitely subscribe. Don't check him out. I've been watching his shit for a while now. He's always talking about Yeezus and how like Yeezus had there's so much music that didn't make it to Yeezus, dog. That if you listen to like Travis Scott's Rodeo or Days Before Rodeo or like some Young Thug songs, they were literally old fucking Yeezus tracks. Like Go Tell Your Friends on The Weeknd's album was literally a Kanye West song that Kanye West was like, here, The Weeknd, you can have this. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you think about, and that's why I wanted to do this album in particular, when you think about all of that, when you bring all that into the equation, like, damn, like, Yeezus was really that album where it was supposed to at least be that album for Kanye West. Even the name of it, like, he's trying to, play off the Jesus thing, Yeezus, you know what I mean? Jay-Z was Hove, he's Yeezus, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you can't deny the fact that this album had some type of crucial impact on not only Kanye's career, but his peers and people around him, dog.
When you put it like that, it makes sense from an artistic standpoint because it's like he's Yeezus and the rest of the music industry are his disciples. And it's like, when you look at Kanye West and his impact, many will even say, despite me saying that this was a terrible album, it did have an influence. It did have an impact on music that came out after it that, of course, probably was better, but like probably, the way people produced music kind of like was impacted through once Yeezus that came out.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. And throughout that entire Iceberg video, there was like two albums that like I said, like when I watched them, I was like, there's two albums that I gotta really listen to. And it was Yeezus and it was Yandhi. Because it was like I said, like Yandi's an album, we never got it. But a lot of people call that like Kanye's best work. Like it never officially released. I feel like the whole album leaked online. So if you want to go listen to it, I ain't gonna tell you how to get it. I ain't gonna tell you how to get it illegally. I ain't gonna do that. But if you do happen to run across it somehow, you know what I mean, y'all can go listen to it and y'all can kind of see that again. And this is crazy to say too. I'm gonna say this too, right? When I was watching the video, I had somebody with me when I was watching the one part, and she was just kind of like, "Damn, like you never talk about Kanye, but I would think he's like your favorite artist. The way you watch all these YouTube videos about him and stuff like that. You would think he's like your favorite, rapper of all time, and it's like he's definitely like in my top 10." Like of all time, like favorite musicians, artists, whatever you want to say. He's definitely in my top 10. But I think the reason why you can have the type of content, like you can make icebergs on Kanye West, the difference is like, let's say like you would do a Drake iceberg. Like, you know what I mean? How deep is a Drake iceberg gonna be, man? Like how deep is it gonna get? Like Drake just started having a lot of his music leak randomly and weirdly, and it all sounds appropriate, like appropriate. Like, all right, he didn't want this song. Like, it sounds bad. It does not sound that good, except for like a couple songs. I would say like in the Take Care era, like those were songs where I was like, damn, why we never got like Free Spirit, like him and Rick Ross and shit like that. But like at the end of the day, how deep does a Drake iceberg go compared to like a Kanye or a Kendrick or even like a J. Cole? You know what I mean? Like Lil Wayne might be one of my favorite artists of all time, but I feel like it wouldn't be hard to do an iceberg on him. But at the same time, a lot of his best music got leaked in like 2007, 2006. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Kanye to me has always been an artist first, rapper and all that other shit last. It's
right.
Literally always been artist first. So when you watch these fucking 6-hour long, iceberg videos, and they're literally talking about like, oh, this song with this sample and this person was on it, but it just never came out. It never got finished. It makes you think like, damn, like the genius behind like a lot of these projects. And I'm not just trying to like stroke the man's ego or nothing like that, but there's a specific type of genius that goes into these types of albums, dog. And you can tell like these aren't just like, hey, I want to work with you. Can you get on this song with me? Like the closest thing we could think of is like Drake with CLB, right? With Certified Lover Boy. Drake had the whole fucking Avengers of music on that fucking album. All right. Mm-hmm. And it just never felt cohesive. Like just everybody you had on like you just had a bunch of different people on a bunch of different songs, and there was no cohesion. I feel like with Kanye, he really thinks like, yo, I need this person on this song. And then he might change it later. Like, nah, I don't need his person. I just need his verse. Like, let me get his verse, take that person off. Like, you can tell there's a lot of cohesion. And we're going to get into that with Yeezus because there's features on the album, but you just really can't see them. Like, Chief Keef's on the song, Kid Cudi's on the song. And you can see, like, the cohesion that goes with it. Like, it wasn't just like, I want that nigga on this song because he's the hottest rapper right now. It's more like I want him on this song because I feel like he goes well with this and this instrument and this sound and everything that's going on right here and there. And you know what I mean? And we'll break that down for y'all, man. But
I will say this. You do have a point in regards to like when you talk about somebody like Kanye West, he's, for me as well, I wouldn't put him in my top 5 favorite artists, but we talk about him a lot because of just how influential he has been on the culture, but also just the quality of the music that he's produced for this culture, that it requires its own like classes to be studied. Like,
yes.
Just to be able to break down everything that he's been able to do on each and every single one of his albums. It's like if you're somebody who's a connoisseur of music, you have no choice but to marvel at it. Like say what you want about him personally, As far as his musical acumen is concerned, the man is like, I will say it over and over again, the Mozart of our generation. Like, the man is brilliant.
It's just he got his shit with him. But like, I agree, man. Like, you could literally have whole college classes on just the music theory of Kanye West, dog. And it's crazy to say that, because you can't. There's no other musician in my mind, maybe except for maybe like a Stevie Wonder, like a fucking Charlie Wilson, that you may be able, maybe a Michael Jackson. You could break down the music, break down everything. But like with Kanye, you literally can break down everything from vocals, instruments used, to beat, tempo, everything. When you think about that, it's like, that's a lot of shit, dog. That's a lot of shit, man. We're not just talking about, like with Michael Jackson, it's like, we're not just talking about choreography, or we're talking about this, and we're talking about range and vocals. We're talking about everything, from the way your voice is reflected on the music itself is just crazy. Because again, like, not to go in and stroke this man's ego, like even Tyler the Creator said it. In a lot of Tyler the Creator songs, you hear that he does a lot to like morph his voice.
It's that meticulous level of attention to detail that not many artists put forth in their craft.
Dog. Exactly. Like Tyler the Creator on Igor literally changed the pitch on a lot of his own vocals on a lot of songs, that just try to make his voice somewhat of like an instrument on each track.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's like again, like Warren just said, that type of attention to detail, like, not everybody has it. You could talk about the greatest of the greatest of greatest vocal artists of all time. You can go back in the day. You can say the Aretha Franklins, the fucking you just all of them, Whitney Houston's, all of them. There's a certain type of reflection that goes into being like, damn, I can't sing like that, but I can damn near try to replicate that within my own music. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. If that makes sense what I'm trying to say.
And I think that's kind of what like separates Kanye West from the rest of his peers, because like for a lot of like artists, like, if they're a singer, they stay in the singing lane. If they're a rapper, they stay in the rapping lane. With Kanye West, you have to categorize him as an artist and not say that he's a rapper or he's just like, he really is a production artist. Because when we think of, oftentimes, especially in today's music landscape, when we think about production, we just think of beat making.
Yep.
And production really is more than just making the beat, but rather the entire construction of the music that you hear, from like you were saying, beats per minute, the tempo of the song, how the voice is kind of like utilized, the background vocals and everything like that. Like, I've always said, I wish I was a fly on the wall whenever all the lights was being constructed, because that is just a masterful work of art to be able to throw all of that together and have it come out like that.
And that's just like, you got the interlude before it, which is just like how, like, you could tell, like, My Twisted Dark Beautiful Fantasies are a fucking movie, dog, at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's just it's a movie soundtrack. That's the way I've always looked at that album. Like, if you were to just be like, yo, I'm trying to shoot this movie and I only could use that album for the music for the album, you could do it. You could do it. Because it's just, but we talking about Yeezus today, man. We talking about Yeezus, and it even goes down to just the artistry within the album cover, dog. You know what I mean? You just got a blank CD with some red tape on it. Like, back in the day, that shit was fucking genius, man. I remember when Ward bought the CD, or I think your brother bought the CD, or somebody brought the CD, and we were just sitting in the car like, oh my God, it's just a blank CD in a clear case with some red tape. Like, this is crazy. Like,
really, no track list, no like cover art or nothing like that.
And this was back in a time. This was literally back in a time where I feel like album covers were the best. Like 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Some of the best album covers we've ever gotten came from that era. Like, I think nowadays album covers are like super lazy. It's just like, oh, let's just throw a flower on there and just kind of
I mean, what's
fucking
back in the
fade
day?
it out.
Back in the day, album covers used to come with like posters and everything. But now that now that everything's been switched to like digital, and we don't have to get physical copies and like look at track listings and that sort of like sense, I guess I think there's also been videos that talked about like why album covers aren't the same as what they are. I mean, we can say the same thing about music videos and so on. Like the way music has consumed right now has morphed the way we kind of like have done things, and it's kind of taken the artistry out of things like the album cover, the music video, the rollout, all that.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Dat Piff too, because Dat Piff was a key player, at least in our lives, I could say, to these album rollouts. Like back in the day, you weren't just saying like because your album did bad, oh, that was a mixtape. That was just a mixtape. Like you were literally dropping free music on free platforms that anybody could download, and you were sometimes putting your best work on that shit. You know what I mean? Like
straight to that's because again the labels never necessarily had any sort of like say in regards to what, like, because they couldn't account for mixtapes weren't a mainstream thing, so it was a straight to consumer, between the artist and the consumer, and how the artist wanted to express themselves, free from any sort of like labels telling them like, hey, you need a song for the girls, you need a club banger, we need a song that's going to go on the radio and that sort of type of thing. Like nope, like the mixtapes were just straight for like, this is me talking my shit and I need to get my stuff out there.
Yep. Yeah, man. And like I said, dog, like it's just music is just totally different nowadays. It's like I always like to, especially lately, I've been going back and I've been listening to music from like maybe like 2011 to maybe like 2015, 2016. Because to me, like 2018 was the last phenomenal year for music. Like 2018 was like just phenomenal with music, but it's just ever since then, it's just everything has just been like, okay, like this is good, but it's not Astroworld good.
Oh,
you know what
God,
I mean? It's not Astroworld good. You know what I mean? Like you just think about that year, like, yeah, this Drake album is cool, but is it Scorpion? Is it Views? Is it that, like, you know what I mean? Like that era of music is just like so gone nowadays. Especially like you even see it in like not to like bring it towards Drake, right? But like you even see it with the way Drake rolls out albums nowadays. It's just like he's just throwing shit at a wall to see if it sticks and see if people fuck with it. And I think he's trying to have like that Kanye type of mindset with it. But the problem with Drake is it's just like he's always going to try to go for the top chart. I think with Kanye, it's just like, this is what I'm feeling right now. This is the vibe that I'm going with, and this is what I'm going to put out. Whereas though Drake is so focused on like bangers, like with Honestly Nevermind, it's like he's trying to make it seem like dance is the new that's going to be the new wave, which he might be right. He might have been on to something, because like I said, Beyonce went and did the same thing like a month later. You know what I mean? And then even if you listen to Metro Boomin's newest album, not the Spider-Man soundtrack one, but the album before that, there's a lot of dance-inspired music on that album. So it's just like, maybe Drake was on to something. I would have just preferred if he was said like, look, this is what me and my niggas was feeling right now. We've been in like a dance trance house, music vibe right now. We putting this album out. It's a departure from what I'm doing. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I would appreciate that more than just being like, oh, we jumping on the wave, man. We jumping on the wave. You know what I mean? Like, I think the one thing I've always really liked about Kanye West is like he ain't doing nothing he ain't feeling. You know what I mean? If that shit ain't resonating within his heart, he's not doing it. You know what I mean? He's just not doing it. And like I said, you could tell with this album, it was like he was. And I recently said this about Donda. I put this tweet out about Donda. And I've said this to you, Warren. I've said it to a lot of people. I think Donda's an album we're literally going to appreciate in like 5, 6, 7 years.
We can have this podcast again in 5, 6, 7 years and reevaluate Donda.
No, real shit. But I'm just letting y'all know right now, like, y'all not seeing it because, again, like, we're going to get back to the album at hand first. But I'm going to just say it just so it's on wax, just so y'all can look back and be like, damn, he was right. You got to think, man. a lot of your favorite artists right now, like I'm not gonna say a lot of them because a lot of these motherfucking artists, they be dying young and everything. You know what I mean? But at least for Kanye, you could tell like his mother was a great impact on his life. So when we finally get another artist that loses somebody very important in their life, and they have to have that kind of self-reflection, they got to bring it back into them a little bit, kind of like For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole type feel, but like maybe a lot more deeper, like diving into like, yo, I'm a shitty husband. You know what I mean? I'm this, I'm that. Like, we're just not getting that type of concept yet because a lot of the artists that we fuck with.
Wait. Aren't you not the biggest fan of 444 though?
I love 444. I've always loved 444.
Oh, because that's kind of what it was. Like,
yeah.
The landmark event being that this nigga cheated on Beyonce.
It's not just that. Like, I think those type of albums come with age. Like, Lil Durk ain't at the age where he's going to be putting out an album like this. You know what I mean? Like, where he's looking back, like, and just saying, like, damn, like, I went through this, and I've done this, and I've done that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not at that age where, like, for J. Cole to be what? Like, I think it was like 34, 35, maybe a little younger when he came out for For Your Eyes Only. Like, that just goes to show, like, when you have that type of maturity, you can bring that maturity to your music. You know what I mean?
But even he will admit that he mailed that one in. Like, it quite frankly, and this is coming from somebody who in the Cole Kendrick debate, I'm a Cole kind of person. It wasn't his best.
Listen, man, I'm a dick ride that album to the day I die. That album is just good, man. It's just a good old time, dog. That's a good Cole album, dog.
Man was talking about folding clothes, man.
But that's the thing. I think a lot of people just ain't get to appreciate that album yet just because of that. Like, we didn't get the full appreciation because of that yet. Because again, before Kendrick did it on his last album, I mean, Jay-Z did it. Jay-Z kind of had to set that bar, like, look, I'm fucking 50 years old. Y'all want me to talk about shooting guns and doing all this stupid shit? Like, Jay-Z really was just on some type time, like, I'm a grown man. Let me talk about equity. Let me talk about owning patents. Let me talk about this. Let me talk about that. Grown man shit that you can appreciate from a grown man, dog. Like, I love Gucci Mane to death, but the man is pushing like what? Like, he's got to be like 45, dog. Like, he too old to be acting the way he act, dog. Like,
no. But wait, he ain't acting nothing. It's his artist more so. My man decided to delinquent for fun. He out here. He a family man out here. So he's chilling. What you mean?
I just feel like there's a certain age you hit where it's just like you gotta stop with the dumb shit, dog. Like the murder, kill. Like again, like I love Pusha T. Do not take this fucking shit wrong when I say it.
Here we
Pusha
go.
T has been talking about the same shit for like 20-something years, dog. Like, you are a family man now. You are married, nigga. Like, let's talk about some different shit, man. Like, it's okay to just break off from what I mean. Like, just it's okay, dog. I feel
growing
like
growing up to Pusha T is gonna be like hiding cocaine in the baby crib. Is that what it's gonna sound like?
Yeah. Never mind. I don't want that shit. I don't want that shit, man.
Selling packs out the stroller, you know what I mean?
Yeah, come on, just bring the coke, the same coke bars. Then yeah. I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. I ain't trying to hear that shit. But nah, like again, this whole conversation, this sidebar conversation that we've been having, it just should let you know how much of a regard, like me, Warren, and I bet you a bunch of other people have for Kanye West. So when we do things like this and we dive into an album like this, you can literally see where we're coming from with it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, let's get back to the music, man. Let's get back to it. So track 2 on the album is Black Skinheads, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's one of my favorites, dog. It's one of my favorites.
It is one of the few ones that was like relatively enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, dog. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't going cat. This should have been the intro, dog, because this shit was just it was a banger from start to finish, dog. I ain't gonna lie. I was fucking with it. I was really fucking with it. You know what I mean? But I just like the instrumental's pretty good with the rock star voice, the rock star beat, and then you got like the heavy breathing and all that shit. And then I kind of like the end where he's just like, God, I like that shit just makes you, it just gets you hyped up. It's one of my favorites on the album, dog. I ain't got nothing else to say but that. Like, I mean, great song. Always been a great song too. Even way back then when we were like, this ain't it. Like this song was fire back then. You know what I mean,
yeah. Of the songs, I would say then this probably aged the best out of all the songs on the album.
Yeah, I agree. Track number 3 we got is "I Am a God,"
and this
God.
is where we begin to plunge into like into the darkness and whatnot. I'm gonna give you like my overall thoughts when we get to the end of it, but like this is where we plunge into like just I don't even know at this point.
You wasn't feeling this joint, man. You wasn't feeling
Fuck
God.
no.
Featuring God, man.
Featuring God, yes.
Featuring God.
Featuring God on this bitch. Like,
he got God on this motherfucker somehow. I ain't hear God on that joint once, but I think maybe that's the point. I think we gotta search deeper, and we wasn't searching deep enough. I mean, I might have to end this retrospective and go back and listen to it again and try to find God. But how are you feeling about this track, dog?
It's awful, man. Wait till it gets like blood on the leaves, and I'll tell you my thoughts on that one. But man, this one was just, oh my god. I remember, I think it was somebody. It was like the third verse was like, I just talked to Jesus. He said, "What's up, Jesus?" I said, "I'm just chilling, trying to stack these millions." Like, what the fuck is I listen to at this point? Like this nigga having a whole conversation with Jesus about this shit. Like the nigga ain't got nothing else better to do with all this poverty and strife that's going on in the world. You got to talk to Kanye about like, you know, what you doing. He's like, I'm just chilling over here, just trying to stack my paper to the ceiling and ride on 24-inch chrome. Like, the fuck is this? The fuck is it? Like, the fuck am I listening to, man? Is this even art anymore at this point? Like,
yeah, I don't know what "I'm a God" was, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I think that song was just, it was strange. The instrumental's pretty good.
You know what also bothered me about that? Okay, it's like at first, I think it was like the first verse, I am a God, even though I am a man of God. So it's like, I get this is, it's probably just me being pedantic when it comes to like religious literacy, because like the nominal Christian keeps thinking of their God is named God, when it's like your God has a name, is just that you guys just don't care to know it. And
I mean, it might be even deeper than that. Like let's dive into the idiocracy of it. I mean, like define God, man. Do you think God is Kanye West? Do you think it's you? What is God? What is God?
Well, when he says he is a God, I mean, to be a God is to mean that you're a deity. You're above above humanity in some sort of way. I mean, like, listen, I'm not here to like talk to his delusions of grandeur or anything like that. He is totally entitled to feel that way about himself. Fine, that's that Kanye level of confidence. If anything, like this could have been like the beginning sign of like, I mean, it kind of was in a sense for us to see that this was the beginning sign of him spiraling into some level of psychosis.
Maybe. I think you might be on to something. Yeah, I don't know, man. I never really put that much thought into this track. I thought it was like a fun song. I like the way it ends with the "oh my God." I like that at the end. I don't know. I've always liked that joint. It's just something about it. But like, if I had to rate this song on a scale of 1 to 10, like of Kanye songs, it's like it's not as bad as On Sight, but it's not as good as Black Skinhead. It's probably like a 2 or a 3.
Hurry up with my damn croissants. That's like the freaking cult, like the takeaway line from this entire thing.
I am a God. All right, now we on track 4. Track 4, which is everybody's favorite song, "New Slaves," dog.
That did not age well.
That's what I was just about to say. That's what I was about to say. Like, and this is why, like, when motherfuckers get mad at like the shit that Kanye says nowadays, I'm not saying it's you're not wrong. You're definitely right to feel the way you feel. But I just wanted to put it in this perspective. Can we say the man that gave us Jesus Walks, right? Gave us Jesus Walks and New Slaves. Do you think he really believes in the shit he was saying in that TMZ joint where he said slavery was a choice?
Funny you should mention. Funny you should mention that, because the moment you said the man that gave us Jesus Walks and New Slaves, I thought to myself, "Oh, you talking about Rhyme Fest?"
No, but it's just when that whole debacle went down, and what was that, like 2018? That was like 2018, where he said, you know, slavery was a choice and shit.
No, that was 2020.
Was it 2020?
I'm pretty sure, it was either 2020 or.
I'm about to look that up.
You might be right with 2018. I can't remember, because it's like this was him during his presidential campaign.
Yeah. Let me see. Slavery was. No, it's 2018.
Okay.
It was before Ye came out.
Yeah. Okay.
It was before Ye came out. I remember that. It was just right before Ye came out. So, like I said, like, can we say that the same? Because when he said that and the internet blew the fuck up, the first thing I thought, it wasn't to defend this man or nothing. It was just like, this is the same man that gave us Jesus Walks and New Slaves, dog. Like, I don't know if that's what he really meant. Because, you know, Kanye's kind of bad at, like, being intricate with his words. You know what I mean?
You mean articulating himself in a way?
Articulating himself, yeah. I think he just kind of says it, and it comes out crazy. It comes out like super crazy. And then it's like when he tries to reiterate himself, it just sounds like a PR stunt, or, you know, his publicist came out and said some shit. I just really think like Kanye he's a free thinker. And you know,
I hate when niggas use that term so like,
listen, man,
cavalierly.
Listen, you right, because I hate that shit too. I really hate that shit. But like I keep it real with you. I can see Kanye is kind of like a free thinker. He's not an Andrew Tate. He's not a fucking.
I wouldn't consider, like, I think there should be a distinction between considering yourself a free thinker and being unhinged. And I think he's along the lines of unhinged.
Yeah, unhinged. Yeah, I say the same thing.
But and the thing about it is that's always been his character to some degree, and that and up to a point that was a characteristic trait of him that we grew to love. I mean, listen, no hinged man is going to go on national TV, look at the camera dead in the eye in the middle of a telethon to gather donations for hurricane victims and say the president of the United States does not care about black people.
Facts. And he's spitting facts, dog.
Listen, but he's never been the most articulate. Never in his career has he been somebody who's been able to give us a clear speech and give us some sort of inspiration with the words he's been able to say, it like outside of his music. But it's just falling further down into that psychosis and that unhinged nature, just getting more of a voice. And on top of that, the influences around him too, as well, because like he was taking in some pretty bad company around that time.
Yeah, big facts. So, how are we feeling about New Slaves now, though, in 2023, man? Like, is he still spitting? Like, I mean,
I'm at a point right now where it's like it's the combination of this and like the Colin Kaepernick stuff, where I'm just like, I don't want anybody to ever use the term slave anymore to kind of like draw parallels to things that are going on today if it doesn't involve people being held against their will to do labor without any sort of compensation. Like, there needs to be like a hardcore definition and adherence to whenever we use the term slave. Because now it's just like people
mental slave.
Is that what we're talking about in regards to this situation? Because like we would have to like have a lyrical breakdown in regards to like what he's talking about. I'm granted there's a lot of like industry stuff that he's kind of sort of talking about in this particular instance, but like mental slavery, like how are we going to define that in a sense? Like, are we slaves to like how society tends to govern things? I mean, that can be like disengaged through education on what, how are we defining one to be a mental slave in that
Nah,
instance?
because it's real shit. Like mental slavery is a real thing, dog. Like Jim Crow is a real thing, dog. Like it's a form of mental slavery, dog. Like I said, when Jay-Z went on that one song and said, "Money phones, there's a disconnect. We don't do that over here," and literally every rapper was like, "I'm gonna put my money phone up to my ear." Like he literally proved that we're like just slaves to the wrong type of thinking, dog. Like I said,
But okay,
instead of niggas taking on that same song and saying like, "Damn, you right, I don't own my mother's block. Let me go buy that shit." Niggas said, "Bro, I'm gonna put a fucking brick of money up to my ear and show y'all that we still do that shit."
Okay,
like I said, like mental slavery is a real thing, dog.
But I think that becomes very hard to define in that sense, because it's like one may interpret that as mental slavery. One may also look at like, hey, you're just simply following the lead of just some nigga from Marcy Projects that don't know you from a can of paint. That doesn't make you any less of a mental slave. You're a follower nonetheless. I mean, what's it?
It's true.
In hindsight, like when that whole like sidebar away from the Kanye West and the whole money phone situation, which was a funny thing, to be quite honest, because we're thinking Jay-Z literally was like, "Listen, guys, we don't got to do this anymore," and country niggas looked at y'all dead in the eye and was just said, "No, you're not gonna take away my money phone." But I've heard it explained in a way where it's like, yo, it's just a cultural thing and whatnot. And I'm like, I mean, whatever. What may be ignorant to us is just like, listen, it's just what we do over here. Don't think too much about it. I mean, the idea of like mental slavery being considered like us adhering to social conventions about certain types of things. I mean, in a sense, that just makes us mental slaves to all things, to be quite honest. I mean, don't want to get academic, but we can talk about things like the gender binary, or how this constant conversation on the internet about like a man's role is to do this and a woman's role is to do that, and you're supposed to be submissive and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. Tell me how that isn't any different from any other quote unquote mental slavery that many people keep on talking to. I mean, the people that are always talking the most about being the freest of thinking and all that kind of stuff have their own sorts of things that they unquestionably adhere to, and don't want you to talk to them about it and whatnot, or have the gall to even question. So it's like, miss me with that nonsense.
No, I agree. I agree. I feel you on that. Damn, yeah, you're definitely right. But I do, and this is a topic maybe we'll do in Black History Month for y'all you niggas. I do believe mental slavery is a thing. You know what I mean? I do believe that mentally, a lot of us are just slaves to the negative thoughts, negative thinking, dog. And when you break free of the chains of society, man, you will truly be free, dog. No, real shit, dog. Like I ain't even trying to sound like crazy, dog, but like it's real shit, man. I once was a slave, but now I'm free, dog. But yeah, New Slaves, dog. Good song. I like it still to this day. The nigga was spitting. You know what I mean? I think he was spitting. You know what I mean? He said, "Fuck you and your Hampton spouse. I'll jump on your Hampton couch." You know what I mean? I felt that, John. I was like, damn. Even to this day, I feel that bar. I don't know what it is about that, John, man. I don't know what it is about that whole second verse, man.
It's weird because it's like Kanye is an enigma in that way, because and this has been a criticism that's constantly followed him even after this album, and actually especially after this album, because New Slaves is probably him. It's the embodiment of what his outward facing persona is, to be that guy that stands up against the system and wants to go up against these, gatekeepers and all kind of stuff that's trying to keep
and shit.
Yeah, that are keeping us out of this. But at the same time, this nigga begs for their acceptance. This nigga needs their validation in order for him to do anything, whether it be in fashion or anything else. He needs the validation of these quote unquote gatekeepers that are trying to keep us out of all these sorts of things. So again, it's very disingenuous, and when it comes this is why this song doesn't age well. where it's like he's still doing the same thing, and it's kind of being much more apparent that we're recognizing that whenever, like, you know, he doesn't get the acceptance from the white folk, he comes to us and wants to get our support. And the moment he gets our support, he will throw us under the bus when it becomes advantageous to him.
Yeah. I see that argument a lot too, and I agree, man. But as far as the song goes, I fuck with it.
Mind you, this is the same album that was coming about during the whole How Sway thing going on, when Sway was simply telling him, like, listen, if you ain't getting any sort of funding from any of these people, why don't you just do it yourself? Why don't you just, like, all this stuff that we're talking about these days now about black owned this, black owned that, empowering our people, and blah blah blah. All right, Kanye has been antithetical to that throughout his entire shit. All right,
Nah, he said Sway had the answers. He definitely said that shit
later on, but
Yeah.
even then,
10 years later.
But even then, like, even after he admitted it, it's still the same shit. All right. So miss me with that new slaves bullshit. That's trying to be a mantra for us trying to empower anything, but you've never been that person. You've never lived up to that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you personally, but as far as like the message that you try to put out there, and like, or maybe I take that back. He hasn't lived up to it because, again, throughout his fashion or anything like that, he's needed industry backing. All right, all these people that he will criticize him in his music, and then behind closed doors kiss their ass. All right, so fuck that shit.
All right, man. Let's move on, man. Next song we got is "Hold My Liquor." Now, this song has a surprise feature on it from Chief Keef, who
I'm mad he didn't include that.
Yeah, who at the time, you know, Chief Keef was literally everywhere, dog. Chief Keef was that nigga. That was that was the year of Chief Keef being literally that nigga, dog. I miss those days. I think about it all the time. I think about when Chief Keef first came out and just how influential he is to today's music, because everybody wants to sound like Chief Keef or be somewhat like Chief Keef. How we feeling about this motherfucking song nowadays, man? I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real with you real quick, because I'm gonna just end it here. I really didn't care for this song back in the day, and I kind of don't really care for it now. I don't know. I think it's okay. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 5. It's average. It's okay.
Somebody wrote that for Chief Keef and told him to say that, to be honest. Small aside, though, away from the song itself, like, I remember, like, recently hearing the thing about Nori telling the Chief Keef that he's the reason why, like, we've heard about Chicago, and I'm gonna say I kind of agree with that, because when you we've had artists like Common and Kanye West, like, you know, for who knows how long, okay, like, generations, as far as, like, you know, their involvement in the rap game and whatnot. But as far as, like, putting Chicago on and opening the doors to, like, the world looking into, like, if anything, we look at people like Lupe, Kanye, Common as, like, almost anomalies that came out of Chicago, but, like, they never really opened the door to the city itself.
Yeah.
Like, or they may have tried, but it's like their music itself didn't seem inviting to, like, the perspective of what it is going on in Chicago. It wasn't until Chief Keef came along and then blew open the doors for the wave of artists that came out of Chicago after him, is what I say put Chicago on.
Facts.
But as far as this song is concerned, yeah, I will get, like, not too different from what you just said. I could done without it. It really doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just nothing much to add to it.
Yeah, it doesn't really change, make or break the album. Like, if it was to come on, like, I'll let it play, I'll listen to it. But, like, other than that, like, yeah, it's just that. So track 6 we got is "I'm In It," which, all right, let me take away from what I've heard, you know, through one of those ice break videos and shit like that, right? "I'm In It" was essentially a Travis Scott song. Travis Scott was a young Travis Scott who just came out, you know, because, you know, when he come out, like 2012, 2013, was supposed to be on this song. You know what I mean, but then apparently he said, you know what I mean, nah, I want this joint. I'm gonna just keep me on it and stuff like that. And yeah, we got I'm in it. You know what I mean, how we feeling about this joint?
Quite frankly, I'm over here looking at the track list and like I think I'm in it just kind of came and went for as far as I'm concerned. I'm just waiting for you to talk about the next track because I got something to say about that one.
Oh shit. Yeah, so all right. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm in it is my shit. I love that fucking song, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. I fucking love that song. You know what I mean? It's fire to me. It's fire. You know what I mean? And we just gonna leave it at that. Track number 7, Blood on the Leaves. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
This song, this did not age well, but it should probably be looked at as borderline offensive. Like we're talking about you sampled a song from Nina Simone, which by the way, she's been sampled countlessly. Like doing my playlist for like with samples and whatnot. Nina Simone has just been like the go-to for a lot of artists and whatnot. And she's had like her artistry in and of itself is just beautiful enough, but to be like utilize her samples has just been fantastic. But to utilize this sample, a song about like lynchings.
Yeah.
Lynchings.
Yeah.
Strange fruit hanging from the trees. You can see the blood on the leaves. And it's like, what the? Like, and this is the song that you come up with using that sample. Yes, that's borderline offensive. That would be offensive to me if I had personal connections to the American South. But I don't. But at the same, I'm just over here like, damn, this isn't hard at all. This is just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when this song first came out, that was what everybody was saying. But not even to take away from that, dog. Like this isn't to be funny, this ain't a joke. Or none of that. Was it fire though?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. This is one of those songs that a lot of times when it comes on, like I like the little beat drop on it, but other than that, like Kanye ain't saying nothing on it. Like you take a song like this.
Doug, why do you go straight up full on C murder somewhere in the middle of the song talking about fuck them other niggas because I died
down for my niggas? Oh yeah, I did like that part. I did like that part.
That has never been Kanye throughout his entire music career. What the fuck is that included into all this shit?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like that part though. I do like that part.
This did not belong. This thing was just all over the place. This one was, and the thing about it is my brother probably loved this one the most. He was like, "Yo, you hear that blood on the leaves shit?" And that played that shit all throughout the motherfucking thing. Like, I just can't. What the hell is this?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10, dog. I ain't gonna hold you. Cause that little ride for my niggas part, that is my favorite. That joint is kind of hard, dog.
I want you. Listen. This is why they need to come up with that Harriet Tubman $20 bill already. You need to hear the song and stare at that Harriet Tubman face on that $20 bill, and I want you to like listen to what this nigga's saying over the Nina Simone track. Talk about southern trees bearing strange fruit. You can see the blood on the leaves. And here comes this nigga talking about fuck them other niggas, I'll die. Like niggas was actual slaves out here. Just dying out here in these streets, man. And here is this motherfucker. If anything, okay, like if any of the listeners wants to hear that same sample used, but giving it justice, Rhapsody, Nina. That song gives the sample justice.
I'm gonna listen to that.
Oh,
I'm gonna listen to that.
Top to bottom to the end. That song make you want to become something.
Yo, send me that joint.
I got you.
All right. So let's get into track number 8. We're almost done here. We're gonna wrap this podcast up. Number 8 is Guilt Trip, dog. All right.
That the one with that was one with the Kid Cudi feature at the end, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. 10 years later, I didn't like this song when it first came out. This is probably like my second favorite song on the album now.
I ain't gonna hold you the same.
That joint on fire, dog.
It did kind of age well. The sound is actually pretty nice as well. Like,
and the crazy thing is the sound is like a time capsule of that year too. Like if you really think about it, a lot of songs sound like this back then. Like so, it's just like when I listened to this song, I was like, yo, I remember this joint. Like I remember it just playing, like like as I was listening to the album, whatever. Like I mean, like it just like the song kind of brought back some type of like unlocked memories and or some shit like that. It's pretty dope when I first listened to it again after all these years. But I ain't gonna lie, like
the way it was put.
Go ahead.
The way it was put together with like the Movado sample and everything like that, it was nice. Like like I listened to this almost kind of wanting to hate it, but I was like, this is pretty decent. It's all right.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Like this, I like this. I like this sample as well, man. Like I really like it too. And I just think this song is really motherfucking good. Well produced, vocals are good. He kind of spitting like a little bit, like I mean, like rocking that fur, call it Chewbacca, whatever the fuck he said. Or, you know what I mean? I don't know. He's a new Shaba and shit. I don't know. He's not,
the new Chief Rock.
Yeah, that joint's kind of hard.
The rapping was kind of so, but like this, if anything, I'm commending it for the sound itself. It was a good sounding song.
Yeah. I felt where he was coming from. You know what I mean? So yeah, we got that. We both fuck with that. Then we got Send It Up, man. I don't like this song. I don't like this song at all, man. Like I and the crazy thing is like I don't hate it, but it's like if I had to pick a song on this joint, like if this song was to come on, I'm probably gonna skip it. If I'm just playing this, like let's say it's fucking 2012 again, 2013, I gotta put the CD in the goddamn CD drive. You know what I mean? I gotta put the CD in the CD drive, and that song comes on, I'm skipping that bitch. Like I'm skipping that motherfucker.
Look, we might as well skip this and head to because I want to hear your thoughts on Bound 2.
You mean one of the greatest songs of our generation? What the
fuck? Back in the day, you would not shut up.
Dog, I fucking. All right, let's just get into it then, right? Track number 10, the final track on the album, the greatest song of our generation, nigga. The dog, like just the dog. I just seen the music video, nigga. That's all I gotta say, dog.
Honestly, this song aged, but it's like funny aged. Like back then, I was evaluating it as a serious song, but listening to it and just watching the video and all that kind of stuff, you're just like, this is just funny. This song is just funny.
Yeah, and like I said, I keep it real with you, man. Like even back then, like the music video was to this day, the music video is still fire. I mean, I love the intro with the horses, the dirty ass horses running through the fields and shit. Just kind of sets the presence of the whole song. And like I said, like it just puts it in your head like Kanye is an artist first, dog. Like just these majestic horses running across the field, dirty as shit, running through the water and shit. Slow mo. You got Charlie Wilson singing his ass off, giving his fucking his best, so we won't see him in another 5 years when motherfucking Astroworld comes out. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's just giving his all, dog. He's giving his fucking all, dog. Everything he got. Everything he got. You know what I mean?
Fam, if this album itself was a journey, Bound 2 is basically like the music that they played to get you out of the club. Pretty much like it's such a departure from everything else on the album. And you're just like, you know what, man? Like this is the perfect outro. I'll say that. It is it is a great way to end this whatever this is.
Yeah, this thing. I ain't gonna lie, man. Album still the fucking song's still fire, dog. Song's still fire. Like bars are straight trash. The sample is phenomenal. The sample's phenomenal.
The sample's fun. It is nice.
And a little bit of back, fun fact on the song. The original Bound 2 that we're supposed to get, which is
You mean
Bound One.
Bound One.
The original. Well, Bound One, South.
Names sound like that. Bound One. So wild ass name.
Bound One sounded crazy, dog. Like you just had to be there, dog. Bound One. I remember looking that shit up back in the day. Like, where's Bound One at? Like,
we got a Bound Two, but where's Bound One at? Like,
but the original is crazy because it's just Charlie Wilson's voice. I don't know how to describe it, but it's crazy, dog.
Charlie Wilson did that. Charlie did that.
Yeah, he fucked that song up. He killed that joint. Yeah, he like I said, to this day, still 10 out of 10.
Dog,
you know what I mean?
The way he would just end almost every bar with just bound. Like,
yeah, dog.
That's just iconic. I can't.
Great time, man. Great time.
It is hilarious. This is the next to Scoopity Whoop. Okay, like this is the funniest rap song I've ever heard in my life, dog.
Bound One, dog. Gotta love it.
Jerome's in the house. Watch your mouth, dog. Like
facts, dog. Facts.
This is
facts.
It's amazing.
Amazing. And we're not even joking, dog. Like, go listen to the music video. Tell me how you feel about them fucking horses, dog. All right? Tell me how that makes you feel, dog. That makes you feel like, damn, America kind of lit, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
Dog, when you think about it, like, yo, it was a simpler time, man. 2013 was pretty lit.
Yeah, that was before all the bullshit. That's before all the bullshit. Damn, it really was. Before all the police brutality, all that shit.
Oh, police brutality been happening all around, but like we wasn't dealing with like a lot of the crazy shit that been going on and whatnot. We was just chilling in college. It was pretty late.
Yeah, we had coronavirus.
You had a blonde-haired Kim Kardashian behind this nigga on a fucking like motorcycle behind a green screen. That shit was amazing. Like.
Yeah, Kanye was on some shit with this joint, but I appreciate it, man.
After this, I'm gonna go look at the motherfucking video. Okay,
I'm trying to tell you the video, the fucking video, dog. It was always something about them damn horses in the beginning. I'm like, dog, it just inspired me to do like I gotta see this world, dog. Like I gotta travel to 50 states, dog. Like I gotta do it. It's something about this country, man. But yeah, man, that's the last song. So now we're just gonna kind of do a just kind of reflection after all of that, man. After all of that we just talked about, 10 years went by, literally like 10 years like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? 10 years went by. How the fuck we feeling about Yeezus in 2023?
It puts everything into perspective. This album itself was the introduction. This is the Kanye cult.
Yeah.
Like everything that you hear on this song just sounds like what you would hear in a cult indoctrination room or something. Like they were just brought everybody together. Like the listening party was just them introducing everybody to join this new cult. And and again, it ends with Bound 2, and you're just kind of like, wow, like you're just kind of like warped back into reality, thinking to yourself, what did I just experience? But I don't know. But Kanye West is a god.
Yeah.
At the end of it all.
What do you think right now? Because we didn't like it back then. What would you rate it now? What would you rate this album now?
Dog, I regret listening to it again. So like, I was listening to it, thinking to myself, like, maybe I will walk away with like a much better appreciation. No, I hate it even more. Like, it's bad. I don't like it. I don't like this album.
I'm gonna give y'all what I think. Then he hates it. He hates it even more. That's valid. I respect that.
But I will continue to no longer acknowledge it as a Kanye West album.
I'm gonna tell you that I appreciate it. I'm gonna just say that I appreciate it for what it's done. Like I said, the albums after it are far and few better than it. Like I could love The Life of Pablo. Like I'm a big fan of the Life of Pablo, but I feel like The Life of Pablo is when we start to see more of the inconsistencies in Kanye West. And maybe later on, some other time, we'll talk about The Life of Pablo. We'll break that album down.
Oh, that'll be fun. Pablo was
Yeah.
a positive experience. I
Yeah.
personally don't consider it a classic, but I consider it a good album.
Yeah, like we'll have to break that shit down for you because again, for me at least, I love The Life of Pablo, but again, like those inconsistencies within the album, you start to see Kanye West's mental play a big part in it. You can even say that about this album, but I think with that album, it's just like more than ever, man. You start to see a lot of
But
the problems.
On Pablo, it seems a bit more coherent. Like when you hear songs like "It's Real Friends" or "Wolves," like everything seems to be put more like clearly. Whereas
Yeah.
this was just like, okay, so compare like Pablo to Yeezus. Yeezus is contemporary art where somebody takes a banana and duct tapes it to a wall, and now that piece of art is worth like $5,000. The common person looking at that says, I don't understand why that's worth $5,000. Whereas Pablo, all right, kind of like it's a contemporary art piece, but it's done up in such a way. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, I know
Like,
what you're trying to say.
listen, man, like when we do that podcast, oh man, listen, the thoughts I will have on Ultralight Beam. We're not going to get into it now.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Like this is what I always say about The Life of Pablo, right? And a lot of people give me shit about this album, right? And how I feel about it. The Life of Pablo has the best Kanye West songs ever on it, dog. Ever. And I'll fight the shit out about you. 30 we got 30 hour. We got what's it? No More Parties in LA. Ultralight Beam. That should change my life, dog.
Ultralight Beam, I'll give you that, but like all the other ones, I mean, like, listen, you can't be
dog. His greatest song of all time.
Oh, his greatest song of all time to me is All the Lights.
Oh yeah. I say the same. But dog, you Father Stretch My Hands, dog.
Oh, that again.
That's not top 3 of all time. That's not top 3 Kanye West songs of all time for you.
Not for me. No.
Crazy, dog.
Well, listen. You think Father Stretch My Hands better than Flashing Lights?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Better than Jesus Walks? Better than Jesus Walks?
Hell yeah. What?
Oh no. Okay.
Yes.
No.
Yes, and it's on wax. Come fight me, nigga. Pull up on my stream. Pull up on my stream, twitch.tv/BLAZEDxENFERNO.
We're talking,
and let me know, man.
We're talking part 1 or part 2 here.
Part 1, dog. Part 1 changed my dog because part 1 to me always felt like I'll never forget. We'll say that for another podcast, man.
Yeah.
Say that for another podcast because, like I said, I think we might have to do that one fairly soon, dog. We might have to hit y'all with a double bubble week and just drop 2 podcasts in 1 week and give you that one too, man.
Listen, I did not look forward to re-listening to Yeezus, but I will look forward to re-listening to Pablo. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that tonight. I gotta see this, man. But yeah, that was it, man. I hope y'all like this little retrospective we did. I hope you enjoyed it, man. You got any last remarks you want to say before we close this up?
Any young person that comes up to me and says that Yeezus is in their among their top favorite Kanye West albums, you're too young for me.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of them, dog.
I know. I've met one, and she's too young for me. I can't.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I've met a couple too, dog, that really like Yeezus and shit like that. But my takeaway from this is, again, like music is all subjective, and that's why I have so much fun doing these podcasts because it just goes to show what I may like or what I may hold to a high standard. You know, you guys might not, or Warren might not, or Bird might not. I mean, me saying that Father Stretch My Hands is a top 3 Kanye West song of all time, it blows a lot of y'all minds, but in reality, it's probably a fact, dog. Like when I die and I go to heaven, if there is a heaven, you know what I mean? Write this down. When I get to heaven, write this down. Okay? When I get to heaven, I'm going to ask God how he feels about Father Stretch My Hands, dog. I bet you'll say top 3. I bet you'll say top 3. Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna have no way to relay the answer to y'all, but y'all just gonna have to come up there and find out. You know what I mean? But until that day, man, hopefully it don't come. It comes later than sooner. You know what I mean?
We gonna have to definitely have a whole podcast dedicated to just talking about Kanye West, all the albums and his artistry itself, because like we've had conversations about this in the past several times over.
Yeah. That's why I think this was really fun. We're gonna do some other albums. I was thinking about doing like some of the Lil Wayne's albums eventually, breaking into some Lil Wayne. Hopefully we're gonna get Bird on some of those. I'm gonna try to get Bird on some albums that I know me and him fuck with together.
I've been telling you, we need to do a couple evergreen recordings where it's just like, hey, record these in advance and you just keep them in the tuck for like, okay, I'm going to be busy doing other stuff, but let me give these people something that we recorded a while ago, and we just talk about like our music tastes, our mixtapes, our albums that we just loved growing up. Like we can do that.
Sounds good. Good. I think we might have to get that ball rolling. That would be nice to be able to record a bunch of content, have that shit ready to go. And when I'm just like, you know what, I don't feel like doing nothing. Here y'all go. I mean, something from out the vault. I mean, we might have to do that. We might have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But as always, man, if you guys like the podcast, y'all liked it, y'all loved it, please let us know in the YouTube comment section if y'all want to. Make sure y'all like the video version. Subscribe if you feel like it too. I'm dropping a lot of content over there on YouTube. I've been dropping a lot of like my old streams and stuff like that. I've been posting them up on YouTube, and they've been doing pretty good. I've been doing like quick clips and shit like that. So yeah, I mean, definitely get that. Check that out. Make sure you guys rate the show 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Let's try to get 10. Let's try to get it to 10. Let's move up a little bit. Let's introduce to some new listeners. Maybe share it with your friend if you feel you like this enough. Let us know, man, because we'll do this. I think in like 2 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, I might have to hit y'all with a double bubble. Y'all might get 2 podcasts back to back, 65 and 66. Because we might have to do this again. As always, make sure you guys check the links down in the description. Check out me, my boy Eknight117's personal links. Check him out on YouTube. Check me out on Twitch. All that good shit. Warren ain't got no social media, so don't try to find him. He don't do that shit. But yeah, man, this has been a good ass episode, man. This has been episode 64, Nintendo 64 of the Infernal Gaming Podcast. We signing out, baby. Take it easy, y'all.
Word.